Welcome to INFS 325 Public Relations. In session 7, we'll be looking at public opinion. Public opinion is so important in public relations because the views and opinions of the public have a very great effect on the way they regard your organization. So as a public relation officer, you must be very sensitive to the public opinion, especially on your organization. And this session will define what public opinion is. We'll also explain how public opinion is formed. And then we'll look at the ways in which public opinion can be influenced. And we'll look specifically at what persuasion can do for you. So what is public opinion? It's defined as the aggregate of many individual opinions on a particular issue that affects a group of people. It is also defined as the expression of attitude held in common by a great majority of the public. Public relations always attempt to influence public opinion. So the heart of public relations really lies in attempting to influence the public opinion. And most PR programs are designed either to persuade people to change their opinion, to crystallize underdeveloped opinion, to reinforce existing opinions. Public opinion is determined by three major factors. We have attitudes, we have opinions, and then we have actions. We will look at attitudes. Attitudes are evaluations people make about specific problem or issues. And then attitudes can be based on characteristics such as your background, your cultural background, your educational background, your knowledge about things, even your class or your social status about many things. Public opinion is born when people with similar attitudes reach similar opinions or consensus. And so when you know what attitudes are, let's look at what opinions are. Opinions are expression of an attitude on a particular topic. And what about actions? When opinions become very strong, they lead to actions expressed either verbally or behaviorally. Attitudes can be positive, negative, or non-existent. And especially for those who have not yet made up their minds, they can have their attitudes influenced. Generally, on any given issue, you will have a small percentage express very strong support for a particular position, and you also have a small percentage express strong opposition against a particular issue or topic. The vast majority of people really do not care. They are what we call the muddled middle, and they represent the greatest opportunity for the public opinion to change. So these are the category of people that the public relations officer will have to influence them positively towards their side. A number of theories have been propounded on attitudes and how attitudes have influence. We'll look at a couple of theories and see how they are used to influence attitudes. There's one theory on cognitive dissonance. Cognition means to know. Dissonance means something that you do not agree with. So knowing something which you do not agree with can actually influence your attitude. So let's look at a definition of cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance refers to acts that we seek out opinions that we agree with and avoid opinions that we disagree with on our own. For instance, if the health professionals want to carry out an HIV campaign, to be able to influence attitude of people because they do not care and may indulge in any kind of sex, they bring out somebody who is suffering from HIV. Now, if you see this person almost dying, it will shock you, and then you will be forced to change. That is what cognitive dissonance does for you. So people tend to seek out information that is consistent with their own point of view. Seeing somebody with HIV and almost dying is not consistent with your views, and so you would eventually tend to listen to the HIV campaigner or to the nurse or to the health professional who is telling you to avoid certain things so that you don't end up getting HIV. That is theory of cognitive dissonance. Then we have another theory known as the social judgment theory, where people have a range of opinions on a certain subject, anchored by a clear attitude. So, although it's seldom possible to change this anchor position, communicators can work within this range of latitude of acceptance. Now, on any topic, we have people who have strong opinions on a topic and people who have strong oppositions on a particular topic. Those people you can't do much about, but work with those people who have not actually made up their mind, or what you call the latitude of acceptance, and those people who would likely be able to accept whatever you say. So for the PR professional, what do you have to do? Work in the latitude of acceptance and avoid the latitude of rejection. Expect change to happen, but usually in very small steps over a long period of time. So that is the social judgment theory. Now, we also have theories which can really change your attitude. The first two theories were on influencing attitude. Now we want to look at theories which can change attitude. One theory can change attitude is looking at the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Maslow defined 5 hierarchy of needs, and for the PR of professional, you need to determine which level any group of people that you are dealing with have reached. Now, if you have reached a particular level, you will be able to change their attitude. Let's look at examples such as these. For instance, if you are a sales officer selling a BMW, a Mercedes-Benz, and you need to go out to promote your product or your brand, if you choose to go to somebody who is at the lowest order of his physiological need, that is a person who is thinking of his biological needs, basic needs, food, water, drink, sleep, health, that is the wrong target group you've gotten to, because they are looking at bread and butter issues. So that level that you go to have your promotional campaign will fail, and you won't be able to change any attitudes there. So when you're doing any campaign, look at the levels that people, your audience, have reached. And Maslow starts describing different levels. The first level is the lowest order, which also looks at somebody's physiological needs. Those people in this level are thinking of their basic bread and butter issues. The second level that he identified is safety needs. Somebody who is looking for security, protection, comfort, and peace. So you should know what type of message you need to drive to this category of people. The third level is the love needs. Somebody who needs acceptance, belonging, love, and affection, membership in a group. You know what message to drive to these people. The fourth level is the esteem, where people need recognition. They need prestige, confidence, and leadership opportunities. And so with my example that I gave about the BMW salesman, if you came to this category of people trying to sell your BMW, chances are you would be very successful. This category of people need recognition, they need prestige, they want confidence, they want leadership opportunities, and of course, they wouldn't mind driving your BMW. Similarly, those who have reached the highest order, that is self-actualization, or simply becoming what one is capable of becoming, would not mind driving one of your BMWs. These category of people are looking for hobbies, not ordinary hobbies, hobbies such as going to the moon and enjoying real time. They have really accomplished whatever they have to accomplish, and so they are looking for exotic things to do. For a PR practitioner, you must know your audiences and correctly target their levels for effective message design. And with that, you'll be able to change their attitude. Another theory which enables you to change attitude is known as the elaboration likelihood model. Attitudes can be changed in one of two ways. When one is interested and focused enough on a message, we take a central route to decision making. When we are not engaged with a message, we take a more peripheral route to decision making. So for a PR professional, people must be motivated to use the central route. And when they are not motivated, you'd realize that they will not really care very much about your message, and so take what you call the peripheral route or the outside route. Now, persuasion is a very, very key issue or topic when it comes to public opinion. You can persuade. Persuasion is part of public relations. It's a technique we use to be able to influence and change opinions about issues. Persuasion is perhaps the most essential element in influencing public opinion. Persuasion means getting another person to do something through advice or reasoning or just plain arm twisting. And for public relations officers, persuasion is the ultimate goal of a vast majority of their PR programs. So how are people persuaded? So to persuade people, you need to cite evidence that coincides with their emotions and expectations. So let's look at a few of these facts. A good PR program starts with research. So produce the facts. So you can state, for instance, if you're doing a research on the number of accidents in Ghana, you can produce the facts and say, in 2016, the police report on accidents in Ghana stated that 1,000 people, 2,000 people died. That is a fact, and it can shock people into awareness. Or another issue which can help you persuade people is emotions. We can think, but we also respond to emotional appeals. So for instance, you'd see on the television people who are suffering from certain diseases and need a number of, some amount of money, usually huge amounts of money. But if they bring you the photograph of this person who is suffering, who is ill, usually you don't want to see it. But you just look at it because you feel for that person because he's a human being. Your emotions are stirred up, and the next thing you do is to write a check to be able to help this person who is not feeling well. Now, another thing that can persuade is personalizing issues, and people respond to personal experiences and stories. For instance, if you are a widower, and you have to give your side of the story to a new widow or widower, they tend to listen to you because you have gone through that experience before. And so they will listen to you and your experiences will also help them to go through the grieving period. You can also appeal to you. People want to know what's in it for me. So you need to tell people why they need to be persuaded or why they need to take part in a particular public relations program, appealing to you. You appeal to you, to somebody, so that they'll be persuaded to take part in a particular program. So let's look at again issues about influencing public opinion, and this time we'll look at a few laws which have come into existence and what these laws can do for you. Now, public opinion is easier to measure than to influence. So a good public program can crystallize your attitudes, reinforce your beliefs, and occasionally change your public opinion. So when we have public opinion and on a particular issue, these are the things that a good PR program can do. Crystallize the attitude, that means really affirm whatever you believed in, or reinforce your beliefs about certain things, and occasionally change your public opinion. When you have a public opinion on certain things, it can be changed or modified. It can be changed or modified. And then for the target public, that particular program should be very clear for the change or modification of attitudes to take place. Now, public relations professional must have in sharp focus the laws that govern public opinion. So if you want to change opinion or influence opinion, you must be aware of these laws. And these are the Cantrell's laws of public opinion. They have 6 points, and it states that opinion is highly sensitive to important events. So if there's an earthquake, opinion on how the buildings were, what really triggered off that earthquake, is very important to the events which happened. An opinion is determined more by events than words. So it's not the words, what you say, but what they see, what happened, the events which took place, really influences public opinion. At critical times, public opinion is very sensitive to the adequacy of leadership. People expect that when a particular tragedy has happened, they expect to see leadership. They expect to see the president there, commiserating with people. They expect to see the vice president. They expect to see the president of a particular institution there, empathizing with them. So these laws are very important, and of course, as a PR officer, you should never forget these laws. Keep them at the back of your mind. Let's look at more of the points on the laws of public opinion. It states that if people in a democracy are provided with educational opportunities and have access to information, public opinion reveals a hard-headed common sense, which is very important. You can influence the opinion, very easily influence the opinion of people who are not educated. But if you have to influence the people who are educated, it's a hard sell. So you should note that whichever level of people you are talking to, if their level of education is very high, you should know that your message must be very, very clear. For organizations, public opinion really matters. So to improve organizational image, they must operate with the implicit trust of the public. If your organization is not trustful, then you will suffer the loss of public opinion. So in the 21st century, winning favorable public opinion isn't an option. It is a necessity. So for organizations, you have to be aware of these traps. that cast in stone attitude, the fallacy which assumes that public opinion does not change. Public opinion changes, and it changes as fast as events occur. Managers who have that gut reaction about a particular issue, they think that, oh, we think these issues, this is how the public would think about it. No, that knee-jerk reaction to issues should not be entertained by managers, because it does not work. People change their opinions on issues. General public view. There may be a general public at large, but there is no such thing as a general public. Even the smallest public can be subdivided. And so for that matter, a PR officer must target their messages to even the smallest person who is an identifier public within a larger public. Words move mountains. Obviously, public relations is usually influenced more by events than words. But again, remember a couple of years ago when we had the Rwandan war, genocide, it was allegedly said that it was some journalists who went onto the radio station to incite people to take arms. And so words actually move mountains. So be careful of what words that you use. And then finally, be your brother's keeper, because self-interest often sparks public opinion. An organization wishing to influence public opinion might be well advised to ask initially, what's in this for the people whose opinion we are trying to influence? If people don't see anything of their interest in the program or in the message that you're trying to give to them, they will ask, I don't have any stake in it, so it doesn't really bother me and it will not influence me in any way. So make sure that people have an interest in whatever message or program that you want to influence. So in conclusion, let me say that public opinion is a very powerful force. It can impact earnings of corporations through their actions. So people can boycott your products, or the unions can strike if the opinion about your organization is not very good. So in order to influence public opinion, public relations practitioners must always anticipate the trends in society. For your activity, kindly explain in your own words the following: the theory of cognitive dissonance, the social judgment theory, and the elaboration likelihood theory. I want to thank you for paying attention to me, and please remember to carry out your activity and go to the chat room to discuss this assignment. Thank you.